The state government has ordered a freeze on advertising and hiring in the public sector ahead of the budget. It's aimed at protecting the slim budget surplus.
I'm here today at the CPSU CSA to talk to Tony Walkington about the budget freeze and how it will affect public services.
It's not good management. It's a blunt instrument, and in the end it only leads to inefficiencies, ineffectiveness and a reduction in service. We're already seeing people extremely concerned about the cuts to schools and what that means for our school children and our education of our next generation. We're seeing already cuts in health services. We're seeing cuts also in a range of environmental programs. A whole lot of things are being done that will mean either short-term or long-term problems for the West Australian community. Certainly this government is getting more revenue than any government in Western Australia has had to date. So it's not about a lack of money. What it is about where you want to spend it. The government's clearly in love with vanity projects such as Elizabeth Quay, but is reluctant to actually recognise that there's a workforce who have suffered dramatic job cuts while are still maintaining services to a growing population. Now, what we would say is the government's priorities are clearly wrong, and we think the community would expect the government to ensure that there are quality public services and that the people in the workforce who are delivering those services are recognised for that work.
So what we're doing is cutting new spending or new hiring measures, not existing ones. We, as a state, need to have higher cash balances than we've run in the past.
The government's preoccupation with a surplus is not necessarily a wise fiscal strategy. And also the government doesn't need to spend a whole lot of money on privatisation of services, which in the end is costing the taxpayer much more money than if services had been delivered in-house. So we think the government should immediately return a range of the services it has privatised back into government, and it should also look at ameliorating the cost of these infrastructure projects over a number of years rather than trying to get the current generation, if you like, to pay for something that future generations will benefit from. And it should use those savings to ensure that there are services to the community.
They're tinkering around the budgetary equivalent of fossicking around the back of your couch for loose change by freezing hires and canning advertisements.
Look, what we've been hearing from various government department people involved in human resources and that is that the freeze may continue beyond 1 July. We're extremely alarmed by that because the government again have come out and made a particular statement to the public but are saying something different internally and are feeding through to the HR areas of government that this freeze may well continue beyond 1 July. So we're alarmed for two reasons. One, of course, the continuation of any freeze is not a good thing for the WA community, but the other is that the government again are being duplicitous in that they're not telling the public the full truth of what their intentions are.
So it seems as though the budget freeze will put extra pressure on our already stretched public services. I'm Angela Evans, reporting for Undercurrent.